Hey, welcome to the Game Dungeon. This episode is a little different from the others in that I'm covering a new game. I mean, it's from 1984, so not exactly new, but new for me. All the other episodes are games I've played at some point in the past, but this one I discovered just recently. I was drawn to the name, Bozo's Night Out. I wasn't sure what to expect. I thought maybe you play a clown going out for a night on the town, like go dancing at clubs or something. Or maybe you go around and try to lure people into traps like Pennywise from It. Well, the bad news is you don't play a clown in this game. You play as a drunk Englishman instead. So what's this game about? Well, the instructions are pretty helpful here. See if you can get Bozo safely home with as many pies inside him as she can drink. He may walk either left or right or to the park. Safely home, he can try again the next night with 5 more pints. If he fails, he will lose 1 to 5 pints. And that sums it all up. So let's get started. Now things are calm enough at the pub, but once you go outside, everyone on the street is your enemy. You mostly have bobbies who will arrest you and punks who will beat you senseless, but there are also old ladies and prostitutes who will beat you up too, just not quite as hard. Now these could just be women in low-cut dresses out at night, but I'm assuming these are prostitutes because it fits perfectly with this town's image. If it's not obvious, Bozo lives in the slums. There are bars on his windows, the punks are constantly on the prowl for trouble, and their suspenders give them a bit of that Clockwork Orange vibe. Look at the punk's face on the box cover. You don't want to live here, but Bozo is on a mission. Now besides walking home on the street, you can also take a shortcut through the park. It's what you'd expect. Unfortunately, it's almost as crowded as the streets, so there's not much point. If you bump into anyone, your whole night is lost and you start to sober up. If you sober up completely, you lose the game. If you make it home successfully, you get to add 5 more pints to your inebriation level. Judging from the meter, the goal is to get to 60 pints. So I guess the goal is you're trying to drink yourself to death. I was actually going to criticize the amount you drink in this game, because you're trying to go for 60 pints of beer. And I was thinking, well, they should have changed the numbers on that, because nobody can drink that much. Well, no, I'm wrong. I'm totally friggin' wrong. I did some research, and Andre the Giant holds the drinking record for 119 12-ounce beers in 6 hours. Or in other words, 1 beer every 3 minutes without stopping. That comes to just under 90 pints. Now, Andre the Giant weighed about 520 pounds, so he obviously could handle more beers, but since Bozo is only going for 60 pints, that means he would only have to weigh about 350 pounds to match him mass-wise. Well, Bozo is not a small man, and it looks like he has a healthy gut, and he's clearly a very experienced drinker. So 60 pints is totally achievable. The game had it right all along. The music is Roll Out the Barrel on endless loop. I'm gonna change it to something else. The controls in the game are fantastic. They start off responsive, but the more you drink, the more momentum you gain and your character will start to drift in different directions. And if you need to stop, it can take a while before you're able to start back up again. You really need to anticipate what's coming. It's amazing. I feel as though I can really feel all the beer sloshing around inside him. It's like driving a big truck with faulty steering carrying a heavy load. It is so satisfying being able to steer Bozo safely inside his home so he can load up even more. It makes me feel like a master driver. Oh, he's gonna block me, he's gonna block me! Yes! Around level 40, you start hallucinating and people will turn different colors and you might start seeing pink elephants. Now, pink elephants is an old expression, though my understanding is that serious alcoholics like Bozo here are more likely to see snakes, not elephants. I had a friend who got so completely drunk on St. Patrick's Day that at one point he broke down in tears talking about how the Russians killed his wife. It is worth mentioning that my friend was 16 at the time, had never even been to Russia, and didn't even have a girlfriend. He got over it. The game is surprisingly solid. My only complaint are these damn pits in the sidewalk that sporadically open up. They just feel out of place, whereas everything else I could kind of see happening. At first I thought maybe they were symbolic for you just falling on your ass because you're so drunk, but no, they'll open up and pedestrians fall down them too. I have a theory about this, but I'll come back to it. This game really makes me wonder what the full story is here. Like, what does Bozo do for a living? What kind of job can you have where you can show up pissed drunk every day? You don't just sleep off 30 pints of beer by morning. That shit's going to linger. I'm pretty sure he works an evening shift, whatever he does. No way you're ready to go at 8 or 9 a.m. after a night like this. Now the easy answer is his name's Bozo, so he must work as a clown. I don't think so. It's been a long time since I've been to the circus, but when I did go, those clowns were tip-top, running all over the place. Now, it's possible Bozo is unemployed, but I think he has a job. He has his own apartment and he's buying beer at the pub each night. That's not cheap. The money's gotta come from somewhere. In fact, I did some more research, and viewer Joey Wolf, who lives in London, said that the price of a pint of beer is about £3.50 in a cheap pub and £5.50 in a classy one. He also said London is expensive and it can be cheaper in other cities. Well, for the sake of argument, let's say this is London. After all, there are a lot of people on the street. And I think it's obvious we're going to a cheaper pub, judging by the neighborhood. So if Bozo is drinking 5 additional pints a night, that's a minimum of £17.50 or roughly $28 US. Now, it's possible Bozo is just dosing himself with his own beer at home in between each night, so he only has to buy 5 new pints per day, but let's say he starts fresh at the pub every night. Okay, a bit of a spoiler, you actually have to make it to 65 pints to beat the game. So if you had a perfect run without sobering up once, we're still talking a minimum of about 1,593 pounds, or $2,550 for his adventures here. I noticed nobody else is ever at this pub. It makes sense that Bozo is always the last to leave, but it makes me wonder if he's supporting the establishment all on his own. Once you hit level 50, this game starts getting really hard. But I can't say it's not realistic. I kind of want to see a prequel to this. We know Bozo is single, but was it always that way? Maybe he had a wife and family that he pushed away with his drinking. Really, I think this is another game full of potential and could use a modern day reimagining. I'd like to see the full progression from a happy family life to where Bozo is now. I want to see some sort of drunk career mode. Maybe this could be a management sim, or some sort of roguelike where you try to balance your drinking and go to work and keep your wife and not end up in jail, but you probably won't be able to do all those things. So if you finally hit 60 pints, you still need to last one more night to make it to 65. It's hell, that's all I can say. But if you make it, then congratulations, you win a Bozo Rotten Liver Award and end up in the hospital. It's kind of lame to not even get an ending screen, but hey, how many games do you play where you win by drinking yourself to death? Alright, I'm about done, but I'll stop beating around the bush. Let's talk about the park. Something is happening here. I can't even say what I'm looking at. I love how this is just slipped in casually with no other context to anything. So here's my theory. Remember those pits that people keep falling down? I think we're witnessing an apocalyptic event where monsters from the underworld have broken free and are coming to the surface to claim human souls for their own dark harvest. They're grabbing people from the surface with these pit traps, and we get to see their true faces in the park here. But the genius of this game is that this is the side story. Any other game, this will be the main event. But in Bozo's world, his only concern is to get completely shit-faced all night, every night. Even though the entire Earth is bound to be enveloped by demonic forces, For the here and now, all they mean to Bozo is just another obstacle between him and his drinking. Okay, awards time. Not a lot to say. Our awards are punks, prostitutes, and pints. That's the game. Stay tuned for some spooky episodes for October. And remember, if you're trying to drink yourself to death, pubs are for suckers. Drinking discount wine alone at home in your bathtub wins every time.